I'm Markia. Want to hear something scary?
Razor games. Andre worked as a tester at Razor, a premier gaming company, which meant he got to spend hours every day in what they called the dungeon, gaming and giving feedback on the latest technology. One day, his colleague Sarah burst in with some new gear. She explained Razor was trying to get a big contract from a Korean company. They had sent over a pair of awesome VR headsets for a new horror game, and the monsters were terrifying. She wanted Andre to check it out.
Oh, too scared to play it yourself?
Andre teased. Yes, she declared. She told him to record his feedback for her in the reaction video as he played. She'd check out the footage when he was done. Andre set up the camera, the game, and placed the fancy new VR helmet over his head. The screen went to a pop-up window that was full of what looked like wingding text scrolling on its own. The window suddenly disappeared and was replaced by another that read, "Installation complete." That was weird. Andre had never seen that code before. Suddenly, he was immersed into a 360-degree view. He was in awe of how vivid the graphics were. He jumped at the sound of an alien-like clicking noise behind him. He laughed at himself for being scared and noted the realistic, creepy sounds of the audio. After messing around with the character mechanics, he made his way through the first level. He spent a few minutes running around the labyrinth of corridors in the abandoned psych ward looking for a key. But soon, he began to feel sick. Like motion sickness, maybe? He hadn't ever had that before, but he was nauseated and sweaty in the tight helmet. His vision began to blur, and it all felt so real. As his avatar rounded a corner, a vent above him dropped down, slamming him in the head, throwing him to the ground. He looked up with a dreaded fear into the dark shaft. He screamed as a monster swung down out of the vent rapidly and jumped onto his character. The beast pressed into his chest with claw-like fists and burrowed into his character's body. The creature then began to eat his character from the inside until there was nothing left but his character's still beating heart. Andre could barely breathe. It all felt so real. As his character respawned, he suddenly heard Sarah shouting, "Andre, are you okay?" Sarah panicked as she pulled Andre's helmet off his head. He was laying on the ground in a pool of sweat, and he had a small cut on his forehead. Andre accused Sarah of pushing him over. She told him that was ridiculous. She only came to check in on him because she hadn't heard any feedback from him. Andre looked puzzled. "I only just started. You have to give me a chance to play through the game." Sarah told him it had been 24 hours since she had first dropped off the gear. At once, they realized Andre had been in a trance playing the game all night. Andre, still feeling queasy, said it felt like the monster was really digging into his chest, although he did find one glitch. He could never seem to get the pause function to work. Sarah told him he should go get some sleep. She would look into the pause glitch. As Andre was packing up to leave, his coworker Jay asked if he could try out the new VR. Andre told him to knock himself out and headed to bed. He was headed back to the dungeon the next day when Sarah frantically pulled him into her office. "There's something very wrong with the game," she said in a hushed tone. Sarah explained she noticed something foreign in the code, almost alien. And after yesterday, she went to watch the reaction footage of Andre playing. Sarah played him the footage. He saw himself with the helmet on, and when the vent swung down, Andre was knocked to the ground as if he was really hit. Then, when the monster jumped on his chest in the game, it seemed like there was something moving inside Andre's body. It looked like a bulge was running under his skin, pushing through first in his stomach, then up to his chest. No wonder it felt so real when the monster burrowed into his character. Something seemed to be trying to break free from the game world. Andre was terrified watching himself. He wanted to know what the company had to say about this. "That's the thing," Sarah explained. Sarah had done some research, and the company was shut down 2 years ago for unethical testing. She had guessed the cut on his head came from something that actually hit him, and that the pause button might not work if it wasn't a game. "You can't pause something that's real," she whispered. "We have to destroy that headset." In that moment, Andre remembered that last night Jay had asked to use it. Sarah and Andre ran to the dungeon. There was no sign of Jay. They were relieved, hoping he had gone home last night, but when Andre went to pick up the headset off the ground, he was horrified. Laying there was Jay's still beating heart, pulsing in a pool of his own blood. Whatever was trying to escape the game was now free.